Hey, it's Michelle here. Quick question before we jump into today's episode. Let me guess. Are you the strong one? Are you like the steady one, the one that everyone leans on? Maybe on the inside, though, life feels like it's pretty hard. You might have a hard time expressing yourself, all the thoughts and the opinions and the ideas that you have, but never quite make it out. Maybe you struggle to take action, even when you know what you need to do. Or maybe you feel tired in a way that's really hard to explain. You're holding everything together for everyone around you, and people tell you they admire how strong you are, but nobody really sees what it costs you. And if any of that lands, maybe you've thought to yourself, well, that's just how I am. But here's what's actually going on. When you were a child and something overwhelmed your nervous system, your body adapted, your nervous system built a defense against that overwhelm. And over time, that defense became a habit, and then that habit became a pattern. And what we think of as our personality is so often just this old pattern running the show. So there are 5 different capacity patterns, and they're not personality types like the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs. These actually describe the specific safety strategy that your nervous system defaults to anytime you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or maxed out at capacity. They don't describe who you are so much as they describe what's blocking who you are. And once you know your pattern, you guys, you can actually do something about it. So if you haven't yet, go and take my free What's Your Capacity Pattern quiz. It's just a couple minutes, and once you get your quiz results, you'll be invited to listen to a free private podcast all about your capacity pattern. The link is in the show notes, or you can head on over to michellegrosser.com/quiz. Hey guys, Michelle here. Raise your hand if you feel like you've been doing all the things, but nothing seems to really be helping. I know you've done the mindset work. I know you've tried to get yourself and your family organized. I know you've tried to exercise and you want to eat better, but do you still find yourself just kind of feeling blah or anxious or overwhelmed or still feeling really burnt out by the speed of life these days? I know, I get it, and I was right in your shoes just a few years ago. But once I learned the science behind regulating my nervous system, and I really got a handle on a few simple balancing exercises that really helped me to get out of my head, which is really hard for a lawyer to do, and into my body and shift the state of my nervous system, guys, everything changed. Incorporating these exercises for just a few minutes a day, it's all it takes, 2 to 5 minutes. It 10x'd my productivity. It allowed me to be calmer, more present with my kids, increased my performance and my creativity at work. It stabilized my mood and my emotions, and it even improved my sleep. And it's not too good to be true, guys. It's what naturally flows from a balanced and well-regulated nervous system. So I want to invite you to register now for my free live virtual workshop. And I'm doing it on May 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. I want to teach you what it takes to rewire your brain so that you have tools that work for your body to help manage your anxiety, overwhelm, and burnout. Also, you can be that calm, centered presence at home and at work. And don't worry if you can't make it to the live event. Just be sure to register now, snag your seat, and we'll email you the recorded replay afterward so you don't miss out. Can't wait to see you there. Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Calm Mom Podcast. I am your coach, Michelle Grosser. Thank you for spending some time with me today. This is going to be a short episode, but I think it's going to be a powerful episode, an episode that challenges maybe some of your current paradigms, an episode that gets you thinking and gives you something to chew on. So let's jump into it. I have been thinking about this a lot lately as I just explore and continue to go deeper in this world of nervous system regulation and neurological fitness. And you guys have probably noticed this too, but I feel like just like most of the information that we consume as moms, as business owners, as corporate professionals, just as a society is really focused around quick fixes and the thrill that seems to come from new information, right? It's like, I learned this, I turn on, I open up my Instagram app and everyone there is trying to teach me something. The same thing with every time I listen to a podcast, someone's trying to teach me something. I understand that I'm part of this for all of you. But every year, right, people are making more podcasts and there's new content coming out, and all of the apps that we use are like adding tons of content to all of their apps. And we're, hit with all of these books we should be reading. And all of that is really wrapped around this idea that somehow all of this knowledge is going to create better results for us, or the desired result that we're looking for. And I think that studies have shown and research has shown that knowledge consumed rarely leads to true transformational results, right? Because if it did, like just think about it for a second. If knowledge consumed actually led to true transformational results, we would see a world full of successful people, however that looks for you, right? Achieving physical fitness success. Like you would read a book on healthy eating, or you would read a book on the importance of exercise, and you would just be physically fit, right? You would read a book on how to open or run a successful business, or listen to podcasts about running a successful business, and you would just do it. You would read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you would be a millionaire, right? But instead, we still see blocks to true transformation because most people don't understand that there's actually 3 phases to learning. And I went into that in more depth in episode 107. So if that's something that you want to hear more about, the 3 phases of learning, so you can get past just the acquisition of knowledge and actually start implementing what you're learning to see true change, go check out that episode. I'll also link it in the show notes for you guys. But what I want to talk about today relates to this idea. Because the more I learn, like I was saying, about the world of neurological fitness, about nervous system regulation, generally, because of what I know about the 3 phases of learning, I'm usually wary of quick fixes, right? And I think to some extent that's warranted. And maybe some of you guys resonate with this too. It's like I hear a quick fix and I'm like, it's not going to work, right? And I've had this paradigm that healing is really complicated and it's going to be really painful and it's going to be really complex. And growing my somatic body and releasing some of this stuff I've been holding and creating new space is going to be really complicated. And as I continue to do this work, that paradigm, that thought process continues to be challenged. And that's the revelation that I wanted to share with you all today, because I'm going through this paradigm shift. And when we go through a paradigm shift, it's really this deep shift in our awareness, our pattern of thinking, and it kind of creeps up on us. And then it just happens instantaneously, right? And as you join me on this journey of learning to regulate your nervous system, you're going to have a number of paradigm shifts. Once you attend the Mom Brain Masterclass next week, you're going to have a number of paradigm shifts. And this is beautiful. And it means that we're growing and we're open to new ways of looking at things and new opportunities and trying new tactics and, right, really just embracing new and embracing change and embracing growth. It's a growth mindset. So if you haven't yet registered for the Mom Brain Masterclass, please go ahead and do so. It's less than a week away. Again, if you cannot attend it live, go ahead and register still. I'm going to record it for you guys and I'll shoot you an email with the replay so you can watch it on your own time. But I promise you that in that 45 minutes of that masterclass, you are going to experience paradigm shifts around the state of your nervous system and how the work that needs to be done in order to shift the state of your nervous system and start to regulate it, right? Okay, so you're going to feel results that really take off with this paradigm shift. Other people, I think, that allow themselves to shift from linear ways of thinking into more non-linear ways of thinking, which is what I'm going to present to you guys in the Mom Brain Masterclass. It's what I do with my clients, right? So I just invite you all to see this as an opportunity not to just learn something in regards to neurological fitness and nervous system regulation, but really as these paradigms start to shift to completely transform your life in the process, right? That's the hidden piece in all of this. Nervous system regulation work to increase and improve your neurological fitness is actually designed to transform you. It's designed to transform all of you and your experience of life. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about acquiring knowledge. And I want to compare and contrast it to embodiment. So we're going to talk about knowledge versus embodiment. And the challenge with becoming embodied with something is that we don't actually get to decide when we're fully embodied, right? It's something that we experience. It's something that we'll notice. It's something that we'll see, but it's not necessarily a decision we make. Like I don't decide, okay, like I am a law expert, or I am a mom expert, or I am a nervous system expert, right? What happens is that we show up in our embodiment of a particular thing, and then life responds to that embodiment. So if that sounds a little vague, let me give you an example, right? So it's a way that we're being. So if I'm being embodied in my nervous system regulation, then that embodiment will mirror into the world and people are going to respond to that. People are going to respond to that. If I'm embodied in the type of motherhood and in the manner of motherhood that I want to be presenting as, that is going to mirror into my motherhood journey and my children are going to respond to that, right? I can't just say I'm the world's greatest mom or, whatever might come through. If I have all of this knowledge, I have to actually embody it. And then I'm going to see a response in the people around me. So I want you to notice if at any point in any of my podcast episodes, in anything that you guys are learning, because our ego is very good at getting in the way. If at any time we find that there's a story like, oh, I already know this, I've already heard this, I've already learned this is basic, right? I already know way more complicated stuff. I've already studied neuroscience. I'm more experienced, right? Is it that you're fully embodied? And this doesn't just apply to nervous system regulation. This applies to anything in your life that you're wanting to embody, right? Anything in your life that you're wanting to change, learn more about, do differently. If you find these ego thoughts coming up, is it that you're actually fully embodied, or is it that you just have an intellectual understanding? And that intellectual understanding, that's the knowledge component when we talk knowledge versus embodiment. So how do we know? How do we know if I just have an intellectual understanding, if I've just read a book, listened to a podcast, read a post, whatever, or if I've actually embodied that information? How do we know? So we ask ourselves, how is life responding to me, right? How is life responding to you? Do you have the health, right, that you desire? Do you have the mental health, the emotional health, the physical health, the neurological health that you desire? Do you have, let's say it's something in a business sense, then do you have the business you desire? Or is it simply an intellectual understanding that you have not yet embodied? Do you have the relationships that you desire, right? Or have you just listened to a podcast or read a book about growing in your relationships, but you haven't actually embodied that information? Do you have the motherhood experience that you desire? Do you have the financial abundance that you desire? If the answer to any of these things is no, then it's highly likely that you have an intellectual understanding, right? You have knowledge, you have information, you can intellectualize these things. Maybe you could even teach it or explain it, but you haven't actually embodied it, right? And I just want to emphasize to you to be mindful of feeling as though you already know things, because that's going to be a key indication of the difference between your acquisition of knowledge and your embodiment of this thing. Have you ever caught yourself wondering why you do the things you do? Like, why do you get so angry and yell at your kids when they're moving at a snail's pace in the morning? Or why is it so hard to relax when the house is a mess? If so, you've got to take my personality patterns quiz. Because here's what's going on. When you were a child, whenever an experience overwhelmed your nervous system, you subconsciously built a defense against that overwhelm. And over time, those defenses became a habit, and then they became a pattern. And now as an adult, what we think of as our personality is really actually often this defense pattern running the show. It's so interesting, right? There's 5 different personality patterns, and they're not personality types like the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs, but rather they describe the safety strategy that you immediately go to when you start to feel overwhelmed. They don't describe who you are, but rather what's actually blocking who you are. And the good news is that once you take the quiz and you learn about your pattern, you can learn skills to break out of that pattern and then live and parent as your true and authentic self. So click on the quiz link in the show notes or go to michellegrosser.com/quiz now to take my 2-minute personality patterns quiz. And the nervous system balancing exercises that I teach, I'm going to go over some of them in the Mom Brain Masterclass. This is what I go through with my one-on-one clients. They're really going to rub up on some of your paradigms around success and around health and around healing, that those things need to be complicated, right? They're going to rub up on your paradigms that knowledge is superior to embodiment. And I am here to tell you that that is not the case, right? This is where the paradigm shifts occur. And as I continue to go deeper on my journey of neurological fitness, the answer really becomes more simple. Not easier. Don't confuse easy with simple, but simple, right? Knowledge becomes less relevant to my experience. Something beautiful in that, right? Where I realize that the more I go on this journey, the less I'm kind of clinging to this idea that I have to know everything, or I have to know more, or I have to really understand. I actually just have to embody and feel. So I would encourage you to just be mindful of that, because it really gets in the way of experiencing true results, true growth, true healing, true change, and being fully embodied. And then the other thing I want to go through today really quickly is just an awareness that there have been studies done around acquisition of knowledge. And as human beings, we actually get a dopamine hit from acquiring knowledge, right? It feels good to know more things. So I'm mindful of this in my coaching. I'm mindful of it in my one-to-one coaching. I'm mindful of it in the programs that I'm creating. I just want to keep the balancing exercises super simple, because when you have access to too much information, if I explain all of the science behind it and I give you all this information and I tell you, go watch all of my Instagram reels and listen to every episode of this podcast. If you have too much information, what you will do is that you will trade a dopamine hit for this knowledge with the work that it takes to actually embody true results. And this is something that I really want to avoid. This is something that you should really want to avoid, because I have people ask me, when they set up a discovery call for one-to-one coaching, like, can it really be this simple? Or how many exercises are you going to teach me, right? How many balancing exercises am I going to get? How many exercises do I need? And I'm not here for you to acquire more knowledge. I'm here to take you to the depths. I'm here to take you to the depths. And some exercises that I've been using to regulate my nervous system, like I know that it's the same exercises over and over that work really well for me. So for me, when I'm feeling angry, Sacred rage exercise every single time. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, butterfly tapping every single time. And I will teach you guys these things in the Mom Brain Masterclass next Wednesday. When I'm in that state, when I'm in a state of feeling angry, when I'm in a state of feeling overwhelmed, the last thing I want to do, the last thing you're going to want to do is go page through, a 200-page book or a 600-post Instagram account or all of these podcast episodes to find this whole manual of hundreds of exercises to try to pick the one that's going to work best for you in that moment, right? That's not what you want to do. It's not what I want to do. What I want to do and what I want for you to do is to form new, healthy neural pathways through the repetition of the same exercises that work for you. So one of the things I actually discourage is for you to think you want variety. You don't want variety, right? You think you want variety, and that's actually your, surprise, surprise, your dysregulated nervous system telling you that you need to seek novelty, that you're stuck in this scarcity mindset. You don't actually need variety. What you need is results. And I'm going to say it again. You don't need variety. What you need is results. The variety comes from your ability to go deep in that consistent exercise. So every time for me that I do the butterfly tapping, or every time I do the sacred rage exercise, I'm clearing some repressed trauma. I'm somatically releasing emotions. I'm somatically releasing stuck energy. And the actual balancing exercise, the one that I'm using, right, that mechanism is for the release is going to go deeper every time. The same exercise itself is simply the tool that facilitates my going deeper. So it doesn't matter if I use the same exercise every single time. That's not where the variety comes. The variety comes through the shifts that happen and the things that are somatically released, right? The trauma that's being released as a part of the process. So just notice, just check your desire, however it shows up, for variety, right? Your desire for variety versus your desire for going deep. Because friends, success in anything is simple. Not easy, but it's simple. No need to reinvent the wheel, right? Financial success, simple. It comes from doing the same thing over and over and over. When you go to the gym, right? You end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. If you're going scuba diving, like think of this for a second. If you're going scuba diving, you do not need different gas tank or all this different equipment every time if your goal is to get to the depths, if you want to go deep. And the same is true with nervous system regulation, neurological fitness. You don't want to change up your equipment every single time you're doing the work, right? You want to be able to go deep. So I just want to leave you with this challenge today. Challenge yourself if you find yourself thinking, this is too simple. There's no way I can balance, shift the state of my nervous system and these exercises that Michelle's going to teach me that take only 2 to 5 minutes. It's too simple, right? I'm here to choose depth over variety every single time. And I'm here to encourage you to do the same because, friends, acquisition of knowledge has never led to great results. Not alone, right? It's a part of it, but not alone. What it is it's the ability to do a few things extremely well, consistently and repetitively over time. All right, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Again, thank you for being here. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead, register for the Mom Brain Masterclass. If you haven't done so yet, please leave a 5-star rating for the show or even a short review. It would mean so much to me. I love you guys so much. I will talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Polygraphs, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.